Yo, right, fellow educators, Haynes here, and I'm going to give you a quick tutorial on how to get started with Onshape and your free accounts and some suggested first activities from the Learning Center, and then I'll go over a really quick first lesson that I like to do just to get people oriented. But yeah, let's get into it. So I am in my Onshape account here. Hold on, I'm gonna open a brand new thing here because if I try to sign up for free, it'll just go to my own account. So we don't want that. I like to put the link to this in my classroom. So go ahead and for students, I would put this in your LMS. But yeah, just Google Onshape free or Onshape student. And the first link that'll pop up, you definitely don't want the plans and pricing. Go ahead and click on the free link here. And up in the top right corner, so right now kids are, or you or whoever's doing it, is signing up for the regular free plan. It's a little bit more restricted, but as long as they have a valid student ID, you could go over and in the top right, click on create a student account. And then from here, it's pretty straightforward as to what you need to do to go through. They're just going to ask you a few simple questions like, your name, where you go to school, your school email address, your school's website. And that's pretty much it. And then by the end of it, they will have a free account that is theirs to use. I recommend having them absolutely use their student email. That way, when they inevitably forget their password and lock themselves out, you know that they'll have an email that they have access to where they could do a password reset. But let's let that go away for now, and I'm gonna jump back into my own Onshape. When signing up, the very last thing it asks you to do is to specify your units, whatever you want to be working in. By default, it uses ANSI standards, so inches, pounds, that kind of stuff. I accept all the defaults because you can always change them in document, or if you realize you're going to be using mils and grams for everything you do, you can change those settings permanently later. So I usually just quick click through all the settings at the end, just accept everything by default. So this is the landing page in Onshape. This is where Onshape starts up every time you log in. Obviously, yours won't have anything, and it certainly won't look like mine, because as an administrator, I'm seeing everybody's work here, like my students' Hot Wheels project they were working on. But from this window, what the first thing we want to do for our lessons is over here in the top right, looks like a little skull with some cogs on it. That is the link to the Learning Center. So go ahead and give that a click. It'll take a minute, and then now you'll be in the Learning Center. And they did just restructure this. It made things probably easier to find if you're a brand new user, but if you've gotten used to the old way like me, it's made things a little bit more difficult. But what we want to do here is, where do we want to go? Under Educator Resources, let's go to Curriculum. Okay, and the one in the bottom middle here for me is Intro to CAD. This one is a fantastic unit on getting started. So if we click here, Unit 1, this is basically what's going to teach your students the general outlay of Onshape, where things are, and it's going to very briefly go over quite a bit. So they're not going to learn and retain a lot from this lesson, but they will understand the interface and they will be exposed to several tools. So if we go in and view unit, what I like to do after I view the unit is to grab these documents here. And what these documents are is these are fully fleshed out lessons. So you click in here like welcome to Onshape, and it will actually give you some explaining of what to do. And so this is just saying, hey, welcome. You continue to click through, all these buttons are interactive, clickable, and then you get to certain segments. For example, right here, it's asking us to actually do something. So with this, it's saying to click on the violin tab and explore the user interface we learned about above. So down here along the bottom, I have my tabs. Right here, I have the violin. So again, we can explore around. This is a view only, so you can't actually edit anything on it. If you wanted to, you'd make a copy to edit it. I've already had to do this several times from teaching this course, so I'm not going to do that, but you certainly can. But it's not asking your students to actually edit the violin at this point. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and close out of this. That's a very quick lesson. Doesn't take a whole lot of time. Number 2 here, it's again, this is going to be basic exposure to a lot of concepts, not a lot of depth here, but it goes through the same way. And if you so choose, what you can do is go ahead and grab the student guide here. And this you can post this in your Google Classroom, and it has the links within and the suggested scoring criteria that you could use if you want. I don't, but it's there for you if you want. But from in here, you could just put this in your LMS, and you'll have the links ready to go. So the students could click that and then make their own copy, which they do want to do. If they want to work it, you'll do it in the little hamburger in the top left, make a copy, and you'll be good to go there. So we're going to jump out of these now. Now, that one, it'll take, some kids will zoom through it because they're really clever and it'll take them a couple hours. Some kids will zoom through it because they're just going to click through it and not really do any of the activities. It should take 3 to 4 in-class hours if they're actually doing the activities. It could take longer for some of your special pops, but just keep that in mind. Now, Unit 2, I feel like, is where the rubber hits the road. The skateboard lesson. This is going to teach the sketches, the extrudes, the revolves, the fillets, like the real meat and potatoes of Onshape, the things that you're going to be using in pretty much every drawing you ever do, from the, simplest to the most advanced. This teaches and reinforces those fundamentals extremely well. It's a pretty darn good unit. I've found that for my students, this tends to take about a week and a half of in-class time. It's fairly robust. I do like to, at the beginning and end of every class period, do either a lecture or a check-in with students just to make sure that they're on track. Because with a lesson that does take this long, it's easy for the achievers and, let's say, the not achievers to get pretty far apart in terms of what they've completed. So check-ins and reinforcement to make sure that everybody's getting the content is pretty good to go. They do have slide decks in here that you can use, but they don't do a whole lot of CAD teaching. They essentially just do, sorry, I will return that phone call in a little bit. They essentially just do a basic overview, but it's good to let the class settle in and kind of go from there. But Unit 2 is really, really good. I highly recommend using that. If you're really confident with Onshape, you can skip over Unit 1 and just kind of give the overview yourself. And then I'm running out of time on my free recording software here, but in my next video, I'm going to show you a basic little activity I like to do between Onshape Standard Curriculum Unit 1 and Onshape Standard Curriculum Unit 2 that kind of helps drive forward and split the gap between the two, and it makes sure that you know your students are all on the same page before diving into Unit 2, which, if you don't understand the basics, can be a little bit heavy. But that'll do it for this one, and I'll see you in just a minute in video number 2.